Well, I have always found that carrot cake was a heavy, plump, dry, boring tasting piece of cake. Until a family member of mine introduced me to a new recipe. It was soft and moist and delicious and fragrant and, well, all those positive words you really want to hear about a cake. So I was converted, and perhaps you will be too. Oh, just look at all those carrots. Surely it must be healthy. And you can just start by cutting off the ends. If there are any dark spots, remove those too. Then just peel it. And afterwards, you rinse them. Like this. Then you have to grate them. And I assure you that absolutely no one will blame you if you use a machine for this, because boy, my arm got tired by this. So, a machine is a good idea. And so it's time to chop up the nuts. Well, a small knife like that is ridiculous, but I don't plan to use a knife at all because it's much easier to just bash them with something heavy. I put them up into a pan, and then I use my rolling pin. I have one with a flat edge like this. This goes much faster, and it results in not pieces of exactly the size I want. So I add the baking powder, baking soda, the cinnamon, and the salt. And when all the dry ingredients are added, you have to stir well, especially the baking powder and the baking soda, so it rises evenly. And then we mix all the wet ingredients: brown sugar, the oil, vanilla sugar, egg. Oh yeah, no, of course the carrots are already in there. Then we stir those, mix them well together for an even and nice mix. Oh yeah, and it doesn't look too nice yet, but it will be. Just a few more steps. We add the dry ingredients, and we stir well. And we have to stir until there are no more dry flour lumps left. And that's it. It doesn't have to be kneaded, it just have to be stirred well together. And there's absolutely no need to put this into a mixer because it really doesn't take long. I prefer to use some baking paper in my baking pan. Then just add the dough. And make sure you scrape it well out into the corners so you get an even thickness of the cake. Otherwise you have one that is really thick in the middle and perhaps a little raw and burned in the edges. And it's actually fine if it's a bit thinner in the middle than it is in the corners. Now we have to make the glazing, the frosting. Grate a lemon. And the finest grater you got. Add it to the icing sugar. And then squeeze out all of the juice from the lemon. Add the juice to the frosting sugar too. Then I add the mascarpone or some other cream cheese, and have to be mixed well together. But actually, you could call it a cream when there are no longer any lumps. But if you give them 3-4 minutes, you end up with a very airy and frothy frosting. That's a lot better. So please do that. And when the cake has completely cooled, I usually serve it directly on a cutting board. And when it's cool, I put it onto that. I remove the paper that doesn't look nice. And if it sticks to the bottom, you just lift it a little. It's a very solid cake because of the carrot pieces holding it together. So you can handle it a bit. Then it's just time to add the frosting as evenly as possible. It doesn't have to be very pretty, because when we add the nuts, it'll hide all matter of sins. And I have crossed those two with my rolling pin, so they are nice and uneven. That gives it a nice look, I think, very rustic. And that's it. It's very easy to make, so enjoy. And you can find the list of ingredients and the recipe on kvalifood.